Hey, everybody. It's Alexander A. Manzoni with Manzoni in the morning. How's everybody doing? Boom. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've done the podcast. Maybe it's because the last time I recorded one, I lost all of the good audio. So I have two different things recording. I got the computer that's recording the high quality audio and the higher quality video, and then I got Instagram Live going on right now. And from the last one, the only one that survived the experience was the Instagram Live, and I wanted to make it a little more special for you guys. You know, the ones out in podcast land who are just listening to this voice. It's better to have a voice at higher quality. Thank you. It's been a crazy couple of weeks and having a lot of good times. I recently have been recruited for a writing gig for this website, Headline Poetry. I am an election correspondent. How about that? Turns out all these crazy political poems actually meant something to somebody. I've been sending them around for a long time, and I kind of had hit a wall where I didn't know what to do with them, except, read them out on the podcast. But it's kind of like there wasn't really anywhere to send them because so many of these magazines and websites, they got a stick up their ass. They think, ooh, we're going to be, we're experimental, and we like to push things to the edge. Do you? Do you really? I find that hard to believe, especially when you're saying no to the shit I'm sending you, and it's some crazy shit. But of course, we know that not everybody's going to publish the crazy shit, and that's why I'd like to thank Headline Poetry at Headline Poets on Twitter. This is Manzoni in the morning. Yeah. Now it's time for some poetry that I'm not going to be able to send to these magazines and shit. Because once I read them, they're giving up to the ether, giving it up to God. So I'll try to read some of the more offensive ones, and we'll see how that goes. This is called I Am Not Frankenstein's Monster. The wayward soul is expelled back into the realm of normal men without sense or bearing as to what may come. Am I more than simply the sum of my parts? You label me a beast. That akin to Frankenstein's monster. What are you, a mob of raving pitchfork and torch welding villagers? Will you relent in your pursuits of my sewn together corpse? No answer was provided. No sign given. Not even in the cosmic breath of swirling galaxies. I arise and lumber out of the catacombs beneath the streets of an unknown city. Arms outstretched and creaking with the remnants of rigor mortis. A crow lands between my shoulder blades and pecks at a lingering carrion beetle, and mired in the patches of my rotted, burnt hair, it's coming out in clumps. What has become of thy love? Oh, God. The love that once drove me to accomplish what seemed to be impossible. Now everything is, or at least it seems to be. When the sun rises again on thy... When will the sun rise again on thy fate? a specter arrives. It rises above the surface of the twice frozen lake. Its eyes are both blind and blue and searching for an excuse to murder anyone and anything in its wrathful path. Take me to where I need to go to be redeemed, I say to it. The villagers, they are mere minutes from catching up with me. Please allow me a final indemnity. You think this can be wrapped up and put to rest so simply? If you think that is so, follow me. Follow me under, follow me into the deep. I took one last massive breath as if an animated corpse needed it, and followed the ghost as it stepped in to the icy, enveloping void. Thank you. This is called Microscopic Insects and Anthropomorphic Arthropods. I wrote this in May. Last one I wrote in May, too. Saturday morning. Time for cartoons. No, that was for another age, another time. There's no real reason why to wake up so early unless you're trying to get a few steps ahead in one's work or play. Since nowadays you can see these cartoons almost any time, any place. The warmth emanating from my face makes me think of long nights of drinking. I had a few last night, but nothing huge. Revealed to me some clues as to how to step through the great portal that opens before me. Will it be a black hole? Will it stand to consume the entirety of my soul? Instead, I find myself naked in a blizzard, with my tongue hopelessly affixed, stuck, if you will, to a metal flagpole with Old Glory flapping, whipping in the ever-increasing winds. My skin is crawling with microscopic insects and anthropomorphic arthropods. I cannot directly see them, but I can sense them. I can feel the prickling heat and Lilliputian legs as they carry themselves to whatever the fuck their goals are. They set up shop in the scar on the bottom of my chin in a matter of days. They are mining for minerals with nary a care for the environment around it. They set off a crate of dynamite and knock a couple of my teeth loose. Boom! I panic, knowing not what is wrong nor what is going on. At this rate, my entire skull will collapse. My head will plummet into the depths of my hips and my ass. What say you of the wild man screaming into the night with a shattered jaw and busted torso? Will you invite him inside your home? Yeah, I didn't think so. What do the anthropomorphic arthropods represent? I don't know. Sometimes I just have some crazy thoughts. I mean, really crazy. Paranoid thoughts, crazy thoughts, all kinds. And it's good that I have writing to get as an outlet for all this, because if I kept this stuff all inside of me, I don't know what would happen. Well, I know what used to happen, and that involved going to a hospital or two. Ooh, rehab. Ooh, another one of them sober houses. Fuck that shit. Unless you really need to go to a sober house, then don't fuck it, but be careful, because everyone's watching every move you make, and they are looking to bust you. Thank God I don't have to worry about taking a drug test every time I come home. That'll be a pain in the ass, especially with all the weed I smoke. Oh, what do you mean by weed there, Alex? Well, there, I say that we have 2 weeds of the week for this week. We got some Chemdawg from Driftboat. There's for that camera, Chemdawg. And we got Whitefire 5 from Loud. It's good. There's weed in there. Say that. Now, of course, I need to take a hit. It's Friday morning, 7:41. Thank you very much. Sometimes it just helps to settle the nerves. Well, it depends on my mood. Sometimes the weed settles my nerves, and sometimes it makes me a little bit more keyed up, as they say. Yeah, smell that. Hear that? That's the sound of legal weed in a state that got its shit together, at least enough to fucking do this. Let me get another one. I think this one's the Chemdawg. Yeah. I think the Chemdawg was one of the highest THC levels in the store, because they have a website, cindersmoke.com, and you can go on there, right? Because I was complaining about this a number of months ago. But like before, I was like, oh, you got to go there and you got to get in fucking line. I hate fucking going to the fucking weed store. But now, you can place your order ahead of time. You go on the website and you can set it by THC level. High to low? Why would it be any other way? You can even look for high CBD levels, which is good because CBD is good for me. Although when you get like a straight CBD weed, it's kind of like smoking tasty air. But I know it's doing something because everyone tells me it does. I think I get more relaxed. I definitely know that every weed I have has a different characteristic to it, has a different personality to the high. Some of it, gets me too fucked up, where I'm just in my head, and just thinking. Usually about fucked up shit, and the kind of shit that I end up writing political poems about. You know how that is now. It's crazy. It is crazy for me to think that now I have a reason to be writing about politics. Good Lord. There's already a couple little things up on their website. I got my own column now, and that's going to be cool. I'm a big fan of Hunter S. Thompson, so this is like a poetry version of that. I'm going to take it to these goddamn fat cat motherfuckers, and I'm going to tell them like it is. Now for some coffee. I have to toast to both screens. Hey, yeah. So what to do now? Another poem. This, you'll probably be seeing this on the website soon, unless they don't put it up because I read it ahead of time. Either way, people need to hear this. This is called Pussies and Assholes. Yeah. It pains me to think that in modern America, you have two choices of leaders. This ain't fucking Baskin Robbins. You got pussies to the left and assholes to the right. And you can't have it any other way. Pussies and assholes, blood and caked half-wiped shit. So much posturing for the coming election year. I'll need another beer or 50 to withstand the brunt of this. We are kissing the feet of an unfamiliar, uncaring golden god, presenting our naked bodies for impromptu sacrifice. Wouldn't it be nice if we weren't so at odds with each other? But the heat, it's not about to die down any time soon. Walking a path strewn with bodies, meet our inevitable doom. All thanks to these fucking pussies, those goddamned assholes. Do nothing or do too much of the wrong thing. The assholes sing flatulence while taking a sickness shit. Pussies murmur under their vaginal breath, whispering ill-timed queefs between one another, a sound 'tis nearly inaudible. Though the air it groweth sour. They're all jockeying for power, hopping onto the dog pile. I taste bile. It burns the back of thine throat. Whoever feels right, they cannot help but reel back and gloat, as if this were some kind of terrible joke. Let me depart this boat before it sinks. But before I do, bartender, one more drink, and we'll fire off the rest of the signal flares. You may not care what happens, but I do. Until this is sorted out, everyone will lose to these pussies, these prolapsed and sore assholes. Realize your goal and you will know what fate has in store. Please, no more. It's interesting. And my polarizing poems, they've definitely got me noticed. But they've also lost me quite a few followers. But that's okay because they weren't good followers anyway. Like, I was occasionally getting Trumpsters following me, like totally missing the point of my poems. A lot of times I'll write like sarcastically, but if you don't realize that, it's like, oh yeah, this guy agrees with everything we're saying. It's like, no, man, no, I do not agree. I do not agree with these Republican motherfuckers. Woo! I get so pissed off. I don't know what to do. So, how's everybody doing on this fine Friday? Is everyone going to go out and go to the bar? Hit the downtown? Don't get scammed. Yeah, all right, let's do another poem that I don't think anyone will publish. This is called Clusterfuck King, Book of Five Rings, Bold Flavors, and the Salted Iceman Cometh. It's a mouthful. I wrote this in May. Last one I wrote about a week ago. What will I be inspired by? Today? Tomorrow? A new wave of overwhelming nightmares. A taste of the old. Bold flavors, they mingle at the very bottom of this cup. Call me the Salted Iceman. I am an elemental born of sweat, exudate, and minerals. Watch me as I arise from the bottom of unforgiving, unrelenting seas. Tolerant I should be, but my last hint of patience is at an end. And there is no way for me to defend it. What a steaming wagon overfilled with horse shit. Take a deep breath. Smell what's in the air. Dare thee challenge me? It would be best if you chose not to. What else are we going to do when the final heavy curtain falls? If you were wise, you would stall for time. Stall for it while we make our brave escape. Our chances, they are not great, but they're better than they would be. if we remained here with our dicks in our hands. No point in whacking your willy now. No point in anything. The dawn of night brings with it a new wave of suffering. I am the clusterfuck king. I am not anything. I am a bird with twice broken wings. I am not anything. I am the last chapter of the Book of Five Rings. Musashi cast down for me a katana, a wakizashi, from the heavens. Grant to thee an ethereal set of blades. The metal need not be material. These set of blades, those that can provide quite the formidable defense. Interesting. I read the Book of Five Rings a long time ago, and it was interesting. Short. If that's anything to you. I know a lot of people, they like going for short stuff. Short stuff. Ooh. We're going to do a poem here. I wrote 5:30:19. Sickness, nightmare, Florida man arose. So sick. Is there a trick to any of this? I guess there isn't. Nightmares encapsulate a bad time in bed. Last night, I was walking down the main street of my hometown, saying hi to my elderly cousins. I pushed past them, knowing that they would have something to say about recent events involving my father. The air there was as humid as it ever was. A wet sock dragged through a Floridian swamp. Watch out for the continuing adventures of Florida Man. What can he do? He left New Jersey for greener pastures and found them greener. Like a health nuts toxic kale shits. At least what I found was better than that. Better than that crap. In the waking world, I cut my lip. I broke a tooth on deep-fried crispy chicken strips. What does it all mean? Aside from the fact that I am falling apart from the inside out. Outside in, my skin is clammy and cold. I behold my love still asleep before the 7 a.m. awakening. I bring her body closer to mine. She is the security I always needed. What would I do without her? What would I do? Collapse into a heap of faded flesh and brittle bones. Sophia, I offer to thee a rose, one grown from the thin soil of my heart. Oh. I like following the continuing adventures of Florida Man. There's always something happening, always something where some guy does something insane, and they say, "Whoop, that's Florida for you." Oh, let's do something here. Okay. I'm going to start reading from my new short story. Not the new one that I'm writing right now, but the one I just finished. Well, the novella, technically. This is called Another Day, Another Drug Test. Another day, another drug test. That's how it is these days. Wipe the swab in your mouth, put it in the machine, and it determines whether you will be allowed to continue living as an official American citizen. We can thank our forebears for this rigmarole. They refuse to abide by the laws. They refuse to change. The progressives kept pushing for more accommodations, more help for drug junkies, safe injection sites, free needles, legalized heroin. Narcan for all. Rehab only if you want it. Yes, in the 2080s, thanks to President Silas Van Skewney, a new wave of kooky liberalized ideas washed over America. They thought helping people would work out in the end, but the people they wished to help most didn't want to help themselves. They still don't. Once you buy into a lifestyle, it is hard to get away from it. I will admit to that. Good thing the only thing I bought into was the new American dream. That and a lot of sports cars, boats, and beachfront property. On the coast of the great Midwestern Freedom Lake, a new addition thanks to our constantly shifting American geography. Definitely not climate change. So, cut to the 2086 election. President J. Royden Eagleman used the drug problem as a focal point in his campaign. It did not take long before the majority of Americans had had enough of this new agey bullcrap. Sure, there were less overdoses with the new legalization, but there were more junkies in the street, running around with impunity, causing trouble, stealing, doing whatever the hell they wanted, whenever they pleased. Once Eagleman was in office, the Republicans sealed the deal. First, he got rid of all the new social programs. Then, he instituted a zero-tolerance policy. A drug test a day, and if you fail at life. One failure and it's off with you to the work camps, because that's what drug addicts are best at when they're not on drugs or on them. Back-breaking physical labor. The bosses would work them until there was nothing left to work. Their pencil-thin bones ground into dust in the uranium mines. There's no account of how many people were being incarcerated and or executed. It was an extremely harsh policy. But Middle America loved it. Idaho loved it. Ohio loved it. So did Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, and more. What's my job? How am I such an authority on this controversial subject? I synthesize pharmaceutical agents for the government. The very drugs that they themselves have criminalized. I cook up new ones to keep the addicts on their toes. We introduce new drugs into the problem areas and let them take care of themselves. It pays well. My name is Varney Carlton. I have a great house and an array of fashionable vehicles, including a personal jetpack. My children are well taken care of by their mother. I am not home often, and sad to say that my workaholicism did, in fact, break up my marriage of 15 years. But that's okay. My ex-wife is a dry drunk. She got off the booze before we met, but you wouldn't have known it. She's as miserable as any gin-soaked pile of shit could ever be. I guess you could say I have a substantial chip on my shoulder. And that I have a bone to pick with life in general. But what do you want from me? I'm just a regular American man. Yeah, gotta show the American sunglasses. I am a regular American man with a hotshot degree in chemistry. An alarm on my phone goes off. It's time for the test. No big deal. I take care of mine, the light turns green, and I am good to go. Not that I don't take my share of pills. Hell, I've got a better selection than most. Working at such a high-level job definitely has its advantages. I've got Oxystat. I've got Adrenoblast. I've got Musculax. I've got Nervotrin. And if you have a problem with that, bring it up with my doctor. Ah, Dr. Safety Forced. You are one of the best. The drug test also determines whether I have been taking my medication as prescribed. Too much equals red light. Not enough equals red light. Not taking the right drugs will get you sent to the camps. So if you have anything you need to discuss with your provider, you had better do it when you're at your appointment. Not that missing one dose will get you sent down to Antarctica or worse. But they are very fastidious at keeping track of records. I know for a fact the guys at the Department of Data are hopped to the gills on Adrenablast. Probably 3 times the dose I'm on. It's all good, though. A certain level of pharmaceutical augmentation is necessary to facilitate the kind of output that the big wigs require. On the day in question, I got up and went through my typical morning routine. Nothing to see here, really. I got my shower, got my coffee, and then it was off to the races. Or so I thought. I was supposed to take my jetpack over to the lake to go jet skiing while flying with a pharmaceutical tycoon named Bayer Bauer. He was a real piece of work, one of them crazy highfalutin trillionaire types. My boss told me to work him until he agreed to sign our latest contract. The more I do this work, the less like my original work it becomes. What the hell am I, some sort of promoter? I have no idea anymore. All I want to do is have my own lab where people won't fuck with my shit. Maybe if I kiss Mr. Bauer's ass enough, my wish would come true. But that wasn't how today was going to play out. No. I got my briefcase, a thermos, and went out to take off from my cozy built-in backyard rocket pad. Little did I know that there were people watching me, planning their little games. Speaking of games, it seemed to be a lot like football. When I did my mini countdown and got to 1, a figure came dashing out from behind my azalea bushes. I did not have time to react before I was knocked down in a brutish tackle. "Yeah, what you gonna do about this, motherfucker?" howled the assailant. 2 more figures appeared from my well-manicured flower beds packed full of exotic trees and such from jungles and East Asia. I didn't know who they were or what they wanted, but I knew I was about to go through some serious hell. The one who tackled me quickly bound my wrists with zip ties synthesized from a polymer that I invented. I could tell the feel of that plastic anywhere. How fucking ironic. It seemed that my security system had been compromised. I just inhaled that coffee. Though from no fault of my own, those sons of bitches must have hacked it, fished it, remotely fucked with it. Let's get this piece of shit tied up, and let's get the fuck out of this bougie hellhole of insanity. I need a goddamn hit, and I can't do that here, said the bastard who tackled me. He was a tall drink of something. 6 3/4 feet tall, from my guess. He was a terrifying Hulk beast. Must have been on the steroids. Probably a little bit of super meth, too, I predicted. If you took care of your veins, you wouldn't have to spend 10,000 hours stabbing yourself over and over and over again until the cows come home. Now, let's get our asses back to the designated point, said another one, a woman, Renette. She had a red bandana tied tight over her head, camouflage wife beater, camo cargo pants, black Nazi stomping boots, bullet-proof vest. Who did they think they were abducting? The actual president of WorldCom? The real president of the United States? They appeared to me as gorillas. Guerrillas. I can never roll the R in gorillas right. It makes me feel very self-conscious. Not that I need to be, as rich as I am. What are you people doing to me? I whined nasally. They replied with a healthy addition of duct tape. The woman wrapped my head and left the roll dangling. I said, as eloquent as I had ever been. The third conspirator, a blonde male with a scar on his chin, took this as an opportunity to beat me over the head with an aluminum baseball bat. Whap! Unlike what you may have thought from movies, I did not immediately go unconscious. I did, however, act like I was after that. My neighbors, they did not notice the chaos. Too bad I had spent so much money building a massive fence to make sure nobody could see me when I would get buck naked from my late night swimming sojourns. A hole was cut in the fence. They made haste and pulled me through it. I got caught, but they forced me through. It cut the tip of my nose. I was not happy. But then, who would be? They dragged me through several of my neighbors' yards. Aside from one dog left outside to freeze, nobody seemed to notice the commotion. They were all on the government's new brand of sleeping pill, Somnolose XR. I helped formulate it. It's addictive. It causes dangerous sleepwalking. It makes people unable to be aroused in more ways than one. So nobody came to help. Surely somebody got this on video. But no, they had administered a jamming signal to nearby electronics, which was very illegal. For kidnapping, they'd probably get 20 years or more in the work camps. The government always said it was a deterrent. Who was being deterred now? Certainly not these mothers. Well, thank you. It was a good piece. I really had a lot of fun writing it. There's a lot of twists and turns and interesting experimental types of narrative. You'll see. It'll be nice. It ended like 80 pages. It's pretty good. The definition of a novella, some of these sites say it's 40,000 to like, what is it, 7,000 to 40,000 words or something. Or no, that's a novelette. It's like 25 to 60 or something. I don't know. It's all pretty confusing to me. You know, I thought a short story meant just like a short story, but no, there's like short story, there's novelette, and there's novella. And Another Day, Another Drug Test is my first novella. It ended at 35,693 words. Pretty good. I was thinking about turning it into a novel, but then I decided that, like, when it was ending, I was like, all right, it's ended. It happened organically. Like, I'd rather just have that instead of trying to force it and then end up making it boring or just fucking it up. So I'm thinking that one day that'll be included in, like, a short story collection I publish. Because I got a lot of short stories. They're fun to write, but they're actually kind of hard to write because the shorter ones, it's like you gotta have like some sort of resolution, but you can't. You gotta introduce the characters, but not too much. You know, you gotta kind of. It's weird. It's not quite as in depth as writing a novel, like the Spokane Story, Spokane Story 2, Spokane Story 3 that I wrote about half of, and American Carnage. I almost finished. Yeah. It's been a long road. I've been writing a lot of stuff. And now, doing the podcast, that seems to be cool. People seem to like that. And I like doing it. So, I hope everyone has a great weekend. This is Alexander Manzoni with Manzoni in the morning. Yeah. Oh, I hope you will join us on Wall Street at the Sunday Art Mart, Sunday the 25th. My mother will be showing paintings, and I'll be there with her, with Sophia, from 12 to 4 o'clock. So if you can make it downtown and want to see some art, come on out and say hi. All right. This is Alexander A. Manzoni signing off.